Yes, Allah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ba'ashem. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to all the Akimat of the four corners, teaching the true sincerity. This is Tasha Kwa Malik. Here with the brother Rock of the GMS Dallas camp. Coming at you with a quick lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the hopeful elect. Because of the signs of the time is being shown. All right. You got the wars and rumors of wars all over the globe. China, Russia, and various nations. They're having a trade war with Babylon the Great, aka America. And America trying to, put the pieces back together. But there's no saving this place. And next it's going to be shown whenever the chariots of Yahweh Shemel Shai or Yahweh Shemel Air Force comes in and exacts holy hell on this place because of what they have not done things right. So like about Prashad, do you have anything?
Go ahead and get what you got.
I'm gonna pull this and Second Ezra's Second Ezra's chapter 11 verse 41 because Esau has not judged the world properly. All right, it says, "For the earth has thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwelling of them that brought forth fruit, and has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm." Esau Edom is doing everything possible to put the straits on Jake. Which is everything that Yahweh Shemel wants him to do, because the time is coming where you have to choose. Do you want to get judged by Esau and ruled over by him, or are you going to come back to Yahweh Shemel? Okay? So with all that said, the Air Force of Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to come and exact holy judgment.
I got something.
This
is Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 26, and it says, "There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven and thy help, and his excellency is in the sky." All right, and that's why I entitled the lesson, "Stand and look up, for your salvation is near," which is Luke 21 and 28 in the NLT, because basically, what we're going into in this lesson is where our salvation comes from, on a literal level, as far as the chariots are concerned. We know that salvation comes from Yahweh Shemel Shai, all right, but salvation has been promised via the chariots being beamed up, and the scriptures give us a lot of examples of that. Enoch, Elijah,
yeah.
And then even Yahweh Shai in Acts the 1st chapter, he was beamed up. So that just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, and then here in the news that they are talking about that three-eyed Atlas.
Right.
You know, how it's coming from its part and flying by, here on the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which which is a whole nother.
Mm-hmm. You got any information on that? Because I could read some while you get some information on that. If you want to bring it up.
I'll show you that.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104, and I'm gonna start at verse 1 and I'm gonna read down to verse 4. All right, because there's no avoiding the chariots when you read the scriptures. Doesn't matter if you're in the Old Testament. It doesn't matter if you're in the Psalms, right? The prophets, the New Testament, the Apocrypha. The chariots are all throughout the scriptures, and Esau knows that. All right, Esau knows that other nations, even other nations, some of the other nations know that as well. Swing low, sweet chariot, right? So this is a part of our heritage, but we know that Esau, Edom is getting ready to spin the narrative and make war against the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why the scriptures talk about a war in heaven. But this is Psalms 104:1. It says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty." It says, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment. Because oftentimes, too, when you see chariots, you'll just see large beams of light, like in the sky. I remember the first time I saw a chariot, that's what it was. It was just a giant star, basically. It was a beam of light that I seen in the sky. And it was actually while I was watching the Elder Kazak. He was going into Exodus 18. He was going into Exodus 18, where the chariot of the Lord, the presence of the Lord, descended upon Mount Sinai. But this is verse 2. It says, "Who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain." And they depict that in like movies like Star Trek, Star Wars, right, where they open up a portal, right, and the ship, go from one dimension to another dimension.
Yeah.
That's stretching out the heavens like a curtain. That's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua does. Your point?
Like at warp speed.
Mm-hmm.
That they depict the ship going so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But we know that that's something that human minds can't even fathom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
it says, verse 3, it says, "Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters," which is talking about the heavens, right? Because the waters, the Shemayim, right? When you go that word waters in the Hebrew, Shemayim, which is going into really the waters above.
Yeah.
You got the ocean, you got the firmament, right? You got the ozone layer, which is the firmament. And then you got what they call deep space, outer space.
Deep space.
The Shemayim. That's where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
The place that man can't go.
Yep. Exactly.
Because man can't pass the Van Allen belt, which is a thick layer of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All that to say, but the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahushua go through that freely.
Yep.
Because it's something that is not earthly, terrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is heavenly.
Yep.
They come from the fourth dimension.
Right.
Yep.
I got one more verse, and then I know you got some on deck. This is this is the point in verse 4 or verse 3 and 4. It says, "Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind." All right. So that's playing upon tables. All right. Literally, this psalm is describing, how the Lord maneuvers in the heavens. And Isaiah 30:5 makes me think about that as well, as birds flying.
Yep.
The chariots are likened unto, man.
Yeah. Pull that Second Ezra 13. Because because that three-eyed atlas, they say that it's 1,444 feet long. Okay, and with that being the case, if you're standing right under it, you can't see the ends of it. You can only see the point where you're at. But Bible shot.
Con, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And behold, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Bible shot.
And when he turned to his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire." And all that's basically going into Yahushua and the angels, because you got the fathership, which is about to break down in verse 5.
Yeah.
Right. But you also have smaller ships within the bigger ship, that are dispatched.
And that's what the three-eyed atlas was talking about. Last time I sat and watched one of the feeds, they said that they saw little ships coming out of the big ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of our armada. Armada of ships are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, we know Yahweh Shemel Shai is bringing the whole army.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But you got it, folks.
Gone. And if I may too, that voice coming out of his mouth is going into the lasers, the weaponry, right? Because the Lord is coming to make war.
The horns,
let's name them. I want to say let's name them those beams of light. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 5. It says, "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it."
See, the mountain, he has chopped a mountain out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
and flew upon it. But really, that's likened unto three-eyed atlas. It's something that's so big, you can't see where he even cut it from.
Yeah, it's about to go into that.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is verse 7. It says, "But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not."
See, you can't fathom how big and how vast this thing was,
Mm-hmm.
but it came from a place that we know not what, and Yahweh Shemel Shai is using it for his vengeance upon this earth.
Yep.
Bible Shai.
Con, I got something real quick.
Bible Shai.
This is John chapter 14, and I'm going to read verse 1 and 2. It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you." All right, and that many mansions, he's talking about links with what he's going into, because they say that three-eyed atlas comes from another galaxy. They say it comes from outside of this current, outside of this, not dimension, that's not the word I'm looking for, but system. This outside of this, solar system. And they can tell by the way that it's maneuvering and the way that it's emitting light and things of that nature, that it's what they call an interstellar object.
Intergalactic.
Right.
And like it's coming directly at us.
Mm-hmm.
it's not going about the usual patterns
Right.
that they usually see. But again, Esau's technology is so minute, and then on top of that, he doesn't want you to see what is actually transpiring because he cut the satellite feeds of viewing three-eyed heavens. We're getting information from under other countries, like Europe and India, because he is deadly afraid of what's transpiring.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Because
this is Zechariah 5.
Yep.
This is the curse that has been in the world. The little chariots are in the world, but now the fathership is coming through.
This is Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and behold," there's that term, lifted, right? Lifted up, looked up, right?
Because when you look up, you see your salvation is nearer than you once believed. Okay, especially for the elect.
It says, Zechariah 5 and 1, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." It says, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits."
So that's a small ship, compared to what's coming. I believe it points to 4.
Verse 3, it says, "Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it."
So it's not Esau part of them stealing, because they stole the whole nation. They stole the whole nation and put them in captivity. All right. Then they lied, by telling you that you're nothing of worth. But they stole your religion. They stole your heritage. They stole everything that makes up you. Because whenever that chariot comes back, they want to be saved. They want to be called the child of the power. But Uncle Shaw, you got it.
Wisdom of Solomon 5 does that.
Yep.
Wisdom of Solomon 5 lets you know that salvation is going to be for those who most people didn't expect to receive salvation. Like in Hosea 1, where it talks about what in the land that you were not called, right? The children of Israel, right? Roughly paraphrasing. So the Lord is going to be delivering the underdogs. All right, who the underdogs in modern times? The men of the Lord out on the highways and byways. All right, the spectacles. The
ones that stood strictly for your house.
This is Zechariah 5 and 4. It says, "I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts." And there's a reason why he's labeled the Lord of hosts right there in that scripture.
The Lord of armies.
It says, "And it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name."
And that's Esau in a nutshell. All right, he has done the things to show his wickedness. You got it.
Yep, America, the house of the thief, and then the small hats.
Small hats.
You know what I'm saying? The ones perpetrating, the ones acting as if, all right, they're the Lord's chosen people.
And they're the ones that even started the whole transatlantic slave trade. But you got it.
It says, "And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof."
So Yahweh Shai is going to just decimate this land that we're on. You know, he's going to make this a memorial. You know, as it says in Revelation 18. You know, because I think it's Second Ezra 15 and 34. Because where it talks about chariots coming from all over, so like chariots from the east and chariots from the west, north. So like, I'll pull it.
I got this real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 15. It says, "Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war." All right, so that links up with what we're bringing out. The chariots aren't here just to be looked at. And that's what you people are getting ready to find out. The chariots are getting ready to bring forth a lot of death and destruction to you people. All right, it's literally the Lord's military.
Yeah.
You know, and like they say in the military, usually your air power is the military that wins.
Yeah, the people that are in the highest places, you know, that can come down, you know, and decimate.
Yep, that's the difference between, you know, like Babylon the Great and these other nations like China, all right, and you know, Iran, right? It's the Air Force. It's their ability to subdue other nations, you know, via, you know, the air. It's one thing to have a big infantry, that's cool, right? But it's another thing to be able to just shoot a goddamn hypersonic, you know, missile. You know,
and I think it's called air superiority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Papa Shot, could you pull that Second Ezra 15 if you know that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Second Ezra 15 and 34, because it's gonna go straight to the point. It said, you know.
Yeah. This is Second Ezra 15 and 34. It says, "Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm."
See, and it's clouds, because that's how Yahweh Shai uses his Air Force. You know, he disguises them as clouds.
Mm-hmm. It says, verse 35, "They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly."
And it's talking about these 2/3. You know, everybody's going to have to receive their judgment. You know, Esau, Edom, these other nations. You know, 2/3 of our own people. All right, because they have stood in great pride against Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm. Verse 36, it says, "A dung of men unto the camel's hoof, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them."
So they're going to see the chariots getting busy. They're going to see the chariots getting busy, and it's like something that they have never seen ever before in their lives, especially in these times. All right, and they're going to have that fear. You know, these other nations are going to have fear. You know, especially whenever they see the elect being beamed up in those chariots.
Mm-hmm.
Great fear is going to fall upon these men. Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7.
Amen.
It says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him."
Yep.
Right. So this is going to be a grand, like when you watch Independence Day, you know, when the chariot pop up. This is going to be an event. Like when the Lord finally pull back the curtain, this is going to be something that everybody sees. This is not going to be a small thing. This is going to be really the greatest. It's going to be the most impactful event in the history of the world. right? That's what we're talking about. That's what we've been prophesying about the whole
The
time.
whole time.
The C hip
The whole time.
and this.
Everything.
All right, and the C hip is the prophecy that's going to activate all this.
Because he's going to have to come up against the men of Yahweh Shemel Shai in order to maximize on his plan.
Yep.
All right, and then Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to move, and Esau is going to blink.
Anything else?
That's it.
Con,
You
got
you go back over.
Con. Well, hey, Lord's willing, we brought out some precepts, you know what I mean, that, edified. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors again to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom, shalom.